Welcome to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Kenya is obviously in a political turmoil, and it is very obvious that the battle lines have been drawn between William Samoei Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga. In the ensuing melee, Kenyans are waiting who will blink first, because both of them have got hardliners around them who are telling them not to see eye to eye to each other. But there is one partner that is missing in all this saga, and that is the international community, who have gone and taken a backseat and they are watching. For some times I have followed the politics in Africa, and especially in Kenya, and many times whenever there are signs and symptoms of a political altercation, one that is serious, then you will see the international community taking an active role early enough to avert any kind of predicaments. But this time round, I've got a feeling that they're a little bit passive in this. My worry is, we all know that they are the cause of what is happening because they aided the president to ascend to this highest office. The reason I'm thinking that they have taken a backseat and that they are a little bit passive is because sometimes whenever there is any sign that these two sides want to engage in this kind of turmoil, you will see them making courtesy calls. Sometimes you hear Raila Amolo Odinga meeting the US ambassador either in the ambassador's office, or they visit Raila in Raila's office, and they tell us that they discussed the relationship, the bilateral relationship between Kenya and USA. Because the last time I saw this was when Raila Amolo Odinga was about to jet out to South Africa, and he met with the UK High Commission to Kenya, Jane Marriott, and that was the last time I saw Raila engaging with any kind of a diplomat. Since then, I have not seen any of them. The other thing that they usually do, just to show that maybe things are serious, is that they usually give travel advisory. You will hear them saying that don't go to Kisumu, don't go to maybe Nakuru, especially in the opposition strongholds. So this time around, I have not seen them engaging, either of them. Neither have I, seen any travel advisory. So this makes me feel that they are watching. But all I know is that they won't watch till the end. There's something that they are planning. But since politics doesn't happen in a vacuum, and there is a reason why everything happens in politics, I wanted to find out why the international community seems to be very quiet. It is interesting to pursue this cause because you remember when Raila wanted to go for or had organized for a parallel Jamhuri rally in Jacaranda, he was quickly invited to Washington DC to attend the US Africa Summit. Inasmuch as the invitation was official in his capacity as the AU High Representative for Infrastructure, the motive was also very political, to ensure that he allowed Ruto to conduct a peaceful Jamhuri, because he was going to take people, and they wanted the international community to juxtapose between his rally and Ruto's rally. You all know, whether you support Kenya Kwanza or Azimio, that Ruto can never fail a venue. The other time when he called for a prayer day, you see how he took people to his rally using school buses, and Raila wanted to just kind of humiliate him, and this is the reason why he was quickly invited to Washington DC. But it seems that the international community are no longer pursuing Raila Odinga, and they are not telling him to stop whatever is about to stop. Because in many occasions, you will see efforts trying to avert this situation or trying to talk Raila out of it. There are several reasons why this could be happening. One, I have a feeling that maybe Raila Odinga is playing hardballs. He has become this obstinate boy who has declined to engage with the international community. Raila has always maintained that he knows fully well that the international community were part of the group that connived to deny him of his victory. And there are people like Martha Karua around him who might be telling him that it is now or never, because the situation in Kenya today is like the Azimio want back their victory. They never want to hear anything to do with dialogue, because they say it is dialogue that damaged Raila's victory. It was part of the reason why some people rebelled, because they felt that Raila was supporting a government that was never looking after their affairs. So it seems that Raila has refused to be twisted. It seems they tried talking to him and he refused. So they have decided that either we look for another option to talk to him, or we just let him be. Because I saw him the last time he went to South Africa, and he also went there in his capacity. He was still the AU High Representative of Infrastructure. He had started using his position that was meant to compromise him to even enlighten and charge other African leaders. Because the truth is, he was given this position to compromise him a bit. You see, when they shook hands with the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, it was to allow Uhuru to work peacefully. It is like he was rewarded because he was complaining that his victory was taken away. So he was given this, a kind of compromise. The other thing, it seems that anytime they imagine that they want to talk to Raila, Raila has placed a demand, a very crazy demand on the table, that he wants the servers to be opened before any talks begin. If you want Kenya to go into inferno, political inferno, then open that server. The day you open the server, you open a Pandora's box, because I have a feeling that within that server lies the truth that we are looking for. Within that server lies the most credible arbiter between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. The reason I'm saying that server is the most credible arbiter is because William Ruto says that he won the August polls fair and square. But Raila says that Ruto is an electoral thief who colluded with the IEBC, the Supreme Court, and the international community. From where we sit, it is Raila's word against Ruto's word. Everyone is defending his position. And so if that server would be opened today, then we will put this to rest. We would simply know who won. And this is the reason why anytime Raila tells William Ruto to open the server, how I wish they would heed to this and open. So this craziest demand that Raila has given the international community is one that has kept them at bay, because Raila will say, okay, you've called me here, open the server so that we can go ahead with the talks. And you all know, your guess is as good as mine, they cannot agree to open that server because the truth will be known, and they don't want that truth to be known. The second thing is that one person who believes that the international community are going slow on President William Ruto. When they signed an agreement to help William Ruto to get to power, to ascend to the most coveted house, Statehouse, they were to do their part, and William Ruto was to reciprocate. Among other things that William Ruto did was to lift the ban on the GMO, genetically modified organism. But that has stalled because Raila Odinga, the Catholic Church, Kenyan farmers, and all the masses in Kenya refused, because this is a new phenomenon in Kenya and we need to understand fully what the GMO is before we start consuming it. GMO, from where I sit, could be a good thing, because in other countries it is legal and people consume it, but the way in which it was being introduced to us was very fishy, and people thought that there is a very ulterior motive. Kenya needed public participation. We needed to include all the stakeholders. I have always said that we've got agricultural professors. They could have been called on board to explain to us why now. Because for the 10 years that Uhuru was in power, he refused. There was a ban on GMO. But when William Ruto took oath of office, he immediately lifted this ban. So this is something that has stalled, and it was one of the agreements that William Ruto was to give the USA so that their farmers can get a market. This is why one of the richest men in the world, Bill Gates, visited Kenya to come and assess the situation and what maybe were the hurdles that made it a bit impossible to start consuming the GMO. So William Ruto is not delivering this within the time frames that they had agreed. The other thing is the issue of the LGBTQ. The other day, the US First Lady visited the country, Madam Jooe Bidden. She came to give William Ruto moral and political support because Raila Odinga had hated his calls for William Ruto to resign from office, saying that William Ruto is illegal in office. So Madam Bidden came just to tell the whole world that this is our president with whom we are pleased. While she was in the country, our courts ruled that the LGBTQ community have got a right of association. Notwithstanding the fact that LGBTQ is outlawed in our constitution, I wonder how you can allow thieves, for example, because you know stealing is outlawed in our constitution, but then you tell our thieves that you have got a right of association. And this was American idea coming through the back door. And immediately the Kenyan courts agreed to this. William Ruto got some money to cushion against the droughts. It's true that drought is really ravaging our people. Animals are dying. It is causing conflicts between communities. But then Kenyans feel that we were given this money because we were being coerced indirectly to accept the LGBTQ. And William Ruto has got no right. He has got no moral authority to deny. In fact, it took him some time before he spoke against it until there was a public outrage. That is when he came and said that under his leadership, LGBTQ cannot be accepted in our country. So, because he has failed to implement his part of the bargain, then the international community is not in a hurry to help him. They are still friends, and I can assure you that they have not abandoned William Ruto. Don't be fooled. They are still together. It is only that they are not moving with such speed, because even William Ruto is not moving with such speed to implement whatever he had promised. Because I know he had promised them that there was nothing that was going to stand before him to implement all these things when he has the sword. But now it is becoming a thorn in the flesh. It is not a walk in the park. The other reason why the international community could be quiet is because they're still monitoring the situation. They want to see what is happening. They are still collecting their intelligence. How serious is Raila's call for mass action? Is it just hot air? Is it gaining momentum? What are the possible repercussions? And then maybe the last minute, they will call Raila Odinga the way they did when we were approaching the Supreme Court ruling where William Ruto was declared the president. Guterres, who is the current Secretary General of the UN, called Raila, talking about, they talked about the security in the country and many other things. And during that moment, the US ambassador called on his on the citizens of America to caution them against traveling to Kisumu, places where they thought were hotspots because they were the strongholds of Azimio leader Raila Odinga. So maybe they are waiting till the last minute, then they will start these interventions. Maybe when they will try to call Raila Odinga and William Ruto, they will be making those very tensed efforts. But for now, they are still watching, because sometimes they just wait and see. Or maybe they are pulling the strings from behind, because one thing that they have always wanted, and this is something that they discussed even before people went for elections, is that they will take this victory and then they will create a powerful office of office of opposition official leader. This is what they've been dangling in front of Raila, but Raila has. The last thing is that they want someone to checkmate William Ruto. You see, they can't just let William Ruto go without being checked, because they know China and Russia is here, and William Ruto can decide to make a U-turn, maybe to start giving contracts to the Chinese government, to Russia, taking loans. And so they want someone who can do the checking, and who stands to do that more than Raila Odinga. It is only Raila who can checkmate William Ruto. And so they just want William Ruto to feel the heat, so that William Ruto can know that if he messes around, Raila is here. They can even threaten that they want to sign a deal with Raila Odinga. And they also enjoy when William Ruto is being pushed to the wall, so that he can know that he was actually helped to be there. They want to show Ruto that we are the one who helped you. Without us, you wouldn't have managed this Raila. So that's what they want Ruto to see, and that's the reason why they are quiet on this. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why I think the USA and Britain and the NATO is making a U-turn on William Samoei Ruto. They are not as active as they were. I don't know what you think, but as always, these are my thoughts. What do you think? Please share with me in the comment section.